Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the 9th Createbase community call. Chloe here under the Createbase tag. We got Nate, co-founder, and Caro, co-founder of Mintbase. And we also have Lenara as well from the BU. Lenara, you got to give us a little more about your real background there.
Well, I'm living in a cave. You can see in the background. I apologize if my connection might not be so great here in the cave, but I'll try to join as much as possible.
Honestly, I think the view is worth the maybe spotty connection, and we can hear you great so far. So thank you so much for that. So I'm just going to give a quick intro into what Createbase is and go through some links we've been kind of putting up over the last couple of weeks, really to help onboard not just new members into Createbase and coming onto Mintbase soon, but really just more creative people interested in Near. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully it works the first time, because you know how these things go. But as you're coming into Createbase in the Near ecosystem, the first thing you might be interested in is getting a Near account. So let's see. Can everyone see the appropriate screen? Wonderful. I can see it, that you can see it. So Lenara put out a wonderful article this week, and I will get the link in the chat so that everyone else can read it and go through it. But this article goes through get the testnet account on Near, how to get a mainnet account on Near, because accounts are different than how they would be in Ethereum or some other blockchains. And at the end of the article, you can also figure out how you can get Createbase fund your account on Near. So when you get to this stage where you've got to fund your account, you need one Near, you can copy that funding address, DM it to Createbase on Twitter. Where is that good stuff? There you go. For a limited time, Createbase is sponsoring Near wallet names for creators. So get in touch with us and we will help you claim your Near name. DM Createbase on Twitter, fill out the wonderful form we have linked here, and you can get a Createbase name. We also have a new bounty up where people can get 10 Near to give up to their creative friends and get onboarded as well. But once you get a Near name, what can next is actually using the blockchain. So we've made a Sputnik DAO, which is Near's version of DAOs so far. They're supposed to be interconnected, so we'll see how that goes as V2 comes out. But for now, it is quite simple. If you've got one Near as a bond, right, so you have to put one Near in to start so we don't get spammed by hundreds of people trying to create fake proposals. For any creative proposal that you'd like, we have some proposals already. Like someone wants to outreach to out-of-work artists. Somebody wants to create videos to communicate with friends. And, you know, we have Rogan, who's here in the group, who wanted to create healthy eating cards on Pinterest. So whatever creative idea you want, it does not have to be involved in Mintbase directly. We're just trying to help you learn more about Near and get creative in the process. So you can also post those results to our Twitter account, come into our Telegram, and earn up to 10 Near that way. And as well, for the Go Fashion Apply funding, what we're here for is to help projects with cool and unique ideas for NFTs get funding and other types of support so they can continue on with those projects, get them started whatever stage they're at. So the form is quite simple. I have a link to it here. And I'll put all the links in after. This is the Createbase funding form. You just put your email address with you, your name, project title, project description. What we're looking for is projects that are going to help benefit the Near and Mintbase NFT ecosystem. So put a little bit about that. What stage your project's in, and then a little timeline. So what we've done is if you have milestones that might take 3 or 4 months to accomplish, you can break those up into little timelines where you can get some of the payment at each timeline. So it does not have to be complete the entire project before you get any type of funding at all. We are willing to work with projects along each stage and kind of make sure these projects are viable to their completion. You put how much funding you're looking for, and we will work with you to kind of gauge how that works as well. And we usually provide funding in NEAR tokens. You can ask for other tokens if you need to, explain why. We're building on NEAR here. And any other comments, remarks, the NEAR wallet to get paid to, and then a real name, for KYC, and just to let you know, there's some countries, maybe we're not supposed to be giving funds to. So we've got to keep a record of all that and make sure we know where everything's going. But aside from that, you should be good to go. So I will put these links in the chat so everyone can find it out. There's an article here again by Lenara explaining all of the details in great detail. So thank you very much, Lenara, for that. But for now, I'm pretty sure we can get straight into an AMA with Nate. So Nate and Caro, if you both wouldn't mind, you can give an intro if you'd like. And Rogan's already saying lots of details, please. So I'm sure he hopefully has some questions ready.
Yeah, today I think I've shown it already at ETH Denver. Happy to show it again. We're making so much progress every day, but I just read this tweet and I'm just so flippin' excited. You probably can't see it, but that's the Graph protocol is now going to start building on Polkadot, Solana, Celo, and Near. So that is freaking awesome. That's huge for Near. That shows you literally the only, I think, chains that have a massive chance of survival of this ETH killing, new mentality is the Graph. So now that they pick Near, that's kind of a big move for us. Can you guys hear me? Cool. I can just answer questions, or I can just jump into what we're designing and developing now, or just any questions right now? Graph on Near is straight fire. Yes, I effing absolutely agree. It's the hardest thing I've ever built in my entire life. The thing is just a nightmare. I just want to build. I never thought I would get this hardcore into development. I just want to build an NFTs app. I don't want to run a full node and write a bunch of it's complete bananas. Okay, well, no exact questions now. I might as well show what I got going on. My question is,
so Rogan says he has a question. Will it be possible to make your own front end to the Near minting contract?
Yeah, so our site is kind of a beefy son of a gun. We're building we're kind of think of us as like 0x, where we're like 0x, Open Zeppelin, OpenSea, and Mintbase all combined. It's a big undertaking. The goal of our application is to allow everyone to kind of build their own applications off of it. So kind of like a super rare factory. So don't really know how to turn my mic on. Oh yeah. Can I explain the Graph a bit? So yes, short answer, definitely. Our sole purpose is people to build apps off of ours, and for those apps to be big apps. And there's so many ways that app deployers can actually make revenue off of what we're building. So the whole focus is purposeful NFTs, not an NFT that sells for $10 million. That's easy. You can do that on Mintbase today. The hard part is usable NFTs that do more than just collectability. We want things to have you open for maybe your character to run faster, to get you into conference and do all that sort of stuff. So the prime focus of everything we're building is usability, and we'll show you all that kind of stuff later. So the Graph, so building a website isn't like building a dApp is not like building a website. Like normal website land, there's no understanding of, there's no care of time. Like, hey, I want to update my name. You go to database updates. Your interface says, okay, notify me when database is updated, and then you're good. That's normal land. The Graph is basically this giant thing that's constantly listening to events that happen on Ethereum. So let's say in Ethereum you mint a token. That time to actually show that that thing confirmed and minted could take anywhere from 12 seconds to 12 days, depending on the user, how much gas they put in. So we're talking about, hey, I minted a token, my interface needs to update when that is. How do we do that? And so you can't just sit there listening for when the confirmation happens, because 12 days can go by. So forget having your interface basically update on these triggers. What you need is some crazy thing behind the scenes that's running a full node and several full nodes and backups of these nodes. That's listening for, okay, smart contract did this thing. It minted. My smart contract has an emit function. Emit says user 0x93 minted 3 of these. Tell the graph to do that. So the graph takes that and then shoves it into IPFS so that no one can manipulate it. And then our website updates based on whatever the graph is. So that's hard. Like I've spent 80% of our time rebuilding Mintbase on the graph. Literally last night, I think we're up at 12 again because the thing went down for a few seconds. It's just complete bananas. Luckily, we're so deep into it, even if the graph does build, I don't think we'll use it because now we've done the hard stuff. We can run our own node. We can build all this stuff. But why this is so big is other companies who don't want to go through the madness can start using them like we used them a year and a half ago. So we used the graph for about this time last year is when we transferred everything over to the graph. And that took me about 2 months of build. And it was painful for a month. And then basically I didn't think about it for half a year. I just knew my entire website would just update because the graph says it's updating. It's amazing. So that's that. Any other questions where I may miss? I can go on the graph forever.
So there was one question above by Alejandro. Said, what is the timeline? How do I get on the testnet?
Okay, so the timeline, I might as well show a thing. I'm going to show some things. I got this little guy, that's that. Where's the, oh, here we are, little sherry thing. Okay, so basically everything that you see as Mintbase as it is today eventually will not be there. Can you see my guy here?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Cool. Okay, so this is Mintbase on Near. Everything has been completely overhauled. This isn't accessible to anyone yet, but we are going night and day mode, which is quite fun. We're playing around with the colors. I'm not sold on this color yet, but we're getting there. You'll notice my Near, we have 2 different numbers. This is how much Near I own. This is 0.25. The account system on Near is so flipping robust. We're very excited. Louis, who's heavy into VR, is already sending Near back and forth in his little VR space. So why this is really interesting, I can go into the account system as deep as you want. But basically we said, okay, well, we're going to allow Mintbase to use 0.25 of our Near tokens. So we won't have to, every time we go and interact with the chain, like mint, transfer, we won't have to actually go back and forth to the wallets. That's quite exciting. So what we're looking at here, this is my account as me. This could be your account as well. These are all the smart contracts I've deployed. So you are going to be able to deploy 1, 2, 40 different smart contracts. Maybe you need a different smart contract for certain things. Maybe you're building 2 different companies. That's that. Here's all of my NFTs that I own. Laura, she created this beautiful little GIF here. This is our store deployer contract, and this will be our moderator token. So when we do launch, we will end up actually sending this to you. And I'm messing with this today. This is probably the ugliest thing on our site today because I'm literally redesigning this as of today. But once you get this NFT, then you'll be able to deploy your own smart contract and you'll be able to mint your own tokens. And yes, you can even list your store deployer NFT on our market. So that's quite neat. And so the big deal for this is we really want to show what the NFTs can do. So when you list your token, let's say I go to my Sedita and we want to list This guy. So this is kind of the big difference. Our entire system is built based on split ownership, split royalties, split revenues, all different things. This is a beefy piece of machinery that Thor, our Rust developer, has been pushing big time. So let's say we want to sell this for two near, and we want to give this to nategeyer.testnet. And then we can list out however many we want. So let's say I want to like send out to a charity or send out to whoever. You can give split, whoever wants a split action of the NFT, they can get that. Let's go into, so profiles have been completely revamped. Let's see the settings. I'm very, very proud of how all this stuff is kind of coming together. The account system is crazy robust. So we're hoping to have all of the accounts listed here. Eventually, when we start getting Ethereum, you can then start minting and switching back and forth from different chains. We also want to have Arweave also be shown here, where you can actually spend your own Arweave instead of Mintbase doing it behind the scenes. But what's neat about this is I can actually switch to my accounts. So now I'm in line. I'm on a different account, OpenSea.testnet. I'm number 2. I have to wait for my store deployer NFT. So when that comes, that'll be exciting for me. Yes, I took OpenSea.testnet. Sorry, guys. Let's see what else. It's a system. Let me go back to the thing. Any more questions?
Awesome. I think there was a question from Rendered Flesh about the relationship between Somnium Space and Mintbase on Near. If there was any relationship there specifically, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is there any partnership deal right now?
We are in discussions with them. We are talking to Arthur. Nima is also talking to Arthur from Somnium Space. So we are just building relationships and trying to build something anywhere. So Louis, our developer, he actually built like a transaction thing in VR already in his own VR world. So he said Near is perfect for the virtual world, like much better than Ethereum. I don't really know the technical details behind that, but it's definitely like flipping cool, the technology for VR related things.
Yeah, the way the account system works is like every time you make a connection, you're basically creating a new private key for that connection. So at first I was freaked out. I was like, oh my God, every time someone signs in, we get a private key in local storage. And I just like wigged out. Like, this is so insecure. This is the stupidest thing ever. But then I realized like, oh wait, you can literally give any kind of access to every kind of account. One example is they have a private key open on GitHub with several hundreds of thousands of dollars connected to it in real Near that anybody can grab the private keys to. But once you are the wallet owner and you import it into your wallet and you're connected, that key only has access to view certain functions. So you can be like, well, you can't withdraw, you can't move, but you can use it to get Oracle data or something. So I think we're just getting started. This is really going to help in VR because you can connect your accounts and just once you're booted up, you can say, I think I give Mintbase, the rights to $20 of my Near tokens. While you're in the actual game, you can move things around and set transactions without anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Lewis's app as well. It looked super cool just to see how smooth it was to be able to use like blockchain or payments in VR. I don't see any specific questions.
There is one now about the timeline. I guess Nate talked.
Yeah. The full detail. So what we did, we just sent yesterday access to QuantStamp folks. They are just going to look around and start. The actual audits won't start until mid-March, but that was a big step for us because we've picked our auditor and now we're going through the process. The goal is to at least have 2 weeks on testnet with you guys and everyone else and start releasing the store deployer before they actually dive deep into it. But we're kind of at a point right now where we're dealing with some last minute hurdles with the split fee system. It is a complex beast, but once it's in, it's going to be pretty neat. It's like your first listing. You can have those humans be listers forever, and you can get your royalties forever from that initial listings. But then if you want to, so now I own this thing, and I want to say, well, every time someone buys this thing, now here's a charity, you can also add your split ownerships on that piece. So, and the original people who got listed at the minting time, they will get the revenues and the royalties based on the secondary sales. Then when we sell it again, those people who bought, they've already paid the piper, so it's a whole new set of people that they can set as splits. But then the original, artists or whoever deployed the NFT, they will keep getting the piece. It's good time.
There is another question here, the questions tab, that it says, I already have a store in Mintbase. It's possible to still use near stuff with that. I assume the Ethereum store, so I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, so the vision for how Ethereum is going to come back into play is we're going to have mintbase.io, which is Ethereum. And then we're going to have this other hidden URL, which we'll announce later, which will be Near. So 2 completely different sites. This code is... I'm already looking at it as legacy. Like, we've written this entire stack, and it is way faster, way more optimized. The images load so flippin' fast. I'm pretty excited about all the optimizations. So eventually, this is the new Omni site. We're calling it the Omni site because it'll be for Omni chains. We'll want to start piling in other chains, all the chains. So the vision is kind of having, like, imagine your Binance account, right? You have several tokens that you can use as an exchange. For us, we want to have you list all your tokens, but actually be able to use that. Let's say like Filecoin comes on later on, and all of a sudden you want to use your Filecoin to store your NFT data over here, but you want to use Arweave for this stuff over here, and you're actually using your little bits. That's the future for us. So that said, mintbase.io as it is will get deprecated eventually. The new website will take over, and then we'll start importing the Near functionality into the new site. So this could take some time. But to be honest, right now, my interest in Ethereum has really dwindled because I sent one single token for $27. Like that's bananas to me. That kind of loses the excitement a little bit. But we'll see.
Vandal has a really good question. Can you edit the splits from the original deployer at a future date once an NFT is sold?
No, so the original, once you mint the OGs that you set, you could set no one too. But once you set the OGs in, those guys are set for life. You got to create a whole new NFT that does a whole new set of splits. So, and for Vandal, we'll be really focusing on launch to have the multi-minter role as well, so that you'll be able to onboard your artists where it actually works. I know Mintbase as it is today, it's kind of not so worky. We literally stopped working on it since August, but this, I just think, such an amazing idea that something like DAO Records, you can have multiple artists who mint their own tokens, and you can see and verify that they are the issuer, the minter, and the owner. That's the goal.
So what's the deploy cost on Near? RoganX asked.
Deploy cost is a fascinating question. So we just got it down to 4 Near. It's really a weird system. Like, you pay for storage. At first, I had a hard time with Near, and I eventually came to terms with it, realizing that it's actually really fascinating. So Ethereum has no concept of storage. What's the word? Recycling, or caring about how much data you put onto the Ethereum chain. I can just throw as much as I want and I don't get any repercussions for it. So I think that's quite bad. In the decentralized future we all want to live in, everyone should be able to run a node of some sort and validate the network on a machine that doesn't cost a bunch of money. Although it doesn't really work with DP proof of stake because you have to have $3 million to run a validator set, but it's sharding is definitely more of where things are heading in this world. There was a question and I failed to answer it because I just started going down a Nate hole. What did I miss?
It was what was the deploy cost on Near?
That's it. Okay, so for Near, we got it down to 4 Near now. They just so we had a lot of conversations with Near saying it's way too expensive to deploy contracts on Near because it was like almost 30 at a point. And so we're just like, what's going to cost? What's 30 times? What's the current $4.50? That's a lot of money to deploy a store. And so they actually just reduced it by 10x recently. So I hear that they can keep reducing it by a bunch, but they can never go backwards. So the reason why they have this storage thing is they want developers to be cognizant of what we're putting on the chain, because the more stuff we put on chain, the more shards you eventually will have because you have more data. You'll need another shard that basically says, okay, now other computers can copy smaller bits of the machine, but we also don't want to just keep filling it with nonsense. So that's kind of the initial thought behind why storage is a thing. So to answer your question, for Near, we pad it. We're going to pad it with a couple Near because once you deploy your own contract and you mint on it, every bit of data you put onto that contract, it requires more and more storage. If you decide to completely blow your contract away, you can actually get your money back. We aren't going to initiate a store destruction function because everyone told us not to do that, and so we won't do that. But we're all about giving you guys the power, so we'll see.
How much to mint the NFT once you have the smart contract? Just out of curiosity.
What?
How much would it cost to mint one NFT?
Not a lot, tiny bits. I haven't done the math.
Yeah, Thor was saying 1 Near gives 400 mints.
There we go.
Yeah, so, it was like less than half a cent last I checked.
Yeah. To me, also, it's not about the deploying and the minting. To me, like where I'm really excited to see the future of NFTs is past those two things. It's more about transferring. So what is the cost to transfer it? If that's micro, then we're getting somewhere. Yes, it sucks to deploy a store and it costs a lot of money, but then once we have the NFT, then it just stays in people's wallets. Where's the fun in that? We want people to be listing and moving and redeeming and burning and moving things around all over the place is kind of the main goal. So our market is going to incentivize as much as possible for people to create a store that basically moves their token around.
So there was also a question by Rogan a little while ago. What is Mintbase's cut on sales? Is it still 2% or did it go up, down?
So honestly, the business model hasn't been front of mind ever. It's always been try and make NFTs usable. I think in total we've earned definitely less than $1,000, and well, now it might be a lot more because you've pumped. But in maybe a year ago, we had earned less than $1,000 in fees because we think it's just more interesting to figure out we haven't figured out what NFTs can do yet. How can we start really pushing the business model? So we are going to make a dynamic or an updatable fee structure where at the beginning it's going to be micro, and whatever you get, like if you deploy a store and there's like a 1-year fee for Mintbase, then that's your store. We can make it larger over time later on, but not for you because you've already deployed your store. That's kind of the mentality of us is whatever the fee is going to be at the time of listing or minting, that'll be that for good on that contract. But if you want to create a new contract, then we'll reevaluate. basically this is going to be the year of us trying to figure out what the heck all this means. But the goal number one is deploy and see how things get used given an actual ideal blockchain environment. Fine tuning, yes.
So the next question is, are there any plans to incorporate unstoppable domains? And someone, they also said, could help bridge to crypto.
I have opinions. Like the .eth domain scares the heck out of me. The whole Ethiopia thing, it freaks me out. I really want to NFTize near names. I think that's going to be really exciting. The fact that you have a crypto wallet that connects to your domain, I don't know. I haven't been sold on it yet, but I've also been really heads down the last 6 months. Like literally, wake up, morning, code, sleep. I'm kind of out of the NFT game, to be honest. I'm just really focused on cranking code out and writing all this stuff with Thor and Luis and the team.
So another question, Nate, is will I be able to let people mint on my store and take a cut of their sales?
Take a cut? Oh, yeah, definitely. So once you deploy, once your minters mint, they're going to have to include you, though. So you say, okay, you mint on my store. Once they deploy their NFT, in the deployment, they have to include. That's a good point, actually. I haven't thought that through. Maybe the multi-minter function will evolve over time. But maybe there is like anytime a minter on my contract lists a token that the store deployer automatically gets some split of the revenue no matter what. I don't know. I'm kind of interested to hear your guys' input.
Yeah, that's an interesting question too. Like, do you want to make it flexible, for people to decide? Because I think adding minters can mean different things. I love it how you can actually create your mini platform. Like if you want, let's say, to create your super rare, which is basically whitelisting other minters, and they have a cut that they put. So if someone mints on super rare and sells, super rare will get that cut. So if that's what you want to do, then maybe you should be able to say, okay, all my minters, will get only 90% or whatever percentage, and I, as the, platform store contract owner, get the rest. But maybe that's not what you want. You just want a group of people that are, minting together. There's no hierarchy, and you just want the minters to receive the full amount. So maybe a flexible approach to that, so you can decide when you create your contract, and if you're going to have added minters, if they're going to get a percentage and how much. Maybe that's a good choice.
Yeah, and honestly, you could just do it per each minter you add to the contract. So each minter, you could be like, okay, you get 0%, do whatever you want. This minter, you can get 5%, and then 5% always goes back to you. So each minter you add can have a different set fee for whenever they're minting, and people can almost graduate. If they do more sales, they can create a new contract, a new whitelist with you, and have increased permissions the next time. So
definitely. And a big wall that we hit last week was, so we're trying to create these NFT standards. There's a big hole in the current Net 4 that basically doesn't allow people to give approval per token ID. It's like, okay, you say Mintbase is now able to access all of my contracts. That's pretty much the Net 4. So no one really kind of owns their token in the Net 4 world. We're working really hard to sort this out, and we came up to this conclusion. The biggest issue with the approved by token is this whole storage thing. It's every time, so I deploy my contract. I'm the keeper of this contract. I pay for the storage of the deployment, and I'm minting. I'm also paying for more storage to mint more. Every time we approve, saying someone approves for this token to be moved by Mintbase, after it gets sold, it gets unapproved. That mechanism will increase the storage of your contract. So the way we're looking at this is who pays for the storage? Is it the contract deployer? So every time one of your users all over the place, you mint a bunch of tokens, every time they list, me as the store deployer has to pay more money. That really kind of sucked at first when we thought about it. But now we kind of came to the conclusion it's this whole developing for storage and being conscious of what we're putting. It's going to be a micro amount, like a tiny amount, but still, if you mint thousands of tokens and they keep getting listed, that's going to grow. So what we came up with is that every time someone lists, they have to pay a tiny bit into your contract. So what we're thinking is that tiny bit that they, because as soon as they say, I approve Mintbase or OpenSea to move my token, that they pay that tiny bit as soon as they list. As soon as it gets sold and transferred, we want that tiny bit to go to the contract deployer. So it really pushes contract deployers to create meaningful contracts, because the more lists that they'll get, the more incremental revenue they get once they get unlisted. Kind of a crazy new world.
I think Vandal asked a question. Storage fees with audio and video files could end up using a lot of megabits, but I think it's not that kind of storage, right? Because the audio files are safe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everything in is still the same as Ethereum land, where we're storing all the big files over in Arweave and eventually Filecoin, if that makes sense. No, when we talk about storage, we're saying you deploy your smart contract to the chain. So your contract is doing all sorts of things. It's managing all the stuff. It's saying you're the owner of this token, you're the owner, and it's doing a bunch of stuff. But it's not adding more space to the contract. It's just basically moving stuff around. But then when we start listing, when someone comes and says, hey, I own this NFT that I got, I want to say that OpenSea is now allowed to basically be the approver of my token. I trust OpenSea to, when the mechanics are right, when someone sends in a certain amount of near, that they'll do some fangle-dangle thing, and when that happens, they move it. So there's a little bit of storage that says, I want OpenSea to manage my one token. And that tiny little bit of increased knowledge of your smart contract will increase the storage space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the chat now is going between the ability to add Arweave, this extra Arweave storage, and the functionalities of building that in the future.
Got it. I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you guys had a plan to do other stuff too. I will shut up and say thank you very much. We're excited to get this thing out as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, looking forward to get those store deployer badges flying around to people.
I know, right? I wonder how much test ETH will be the most that one of them goes for. We'll have to see.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Nate, for the AMA. I hope everyone got to ask all the questions they wanted to. Now we're just going to go into people being able to come on stage. I know Vandal usually makes an appearance as well. I know Ben came on last time. So if you'd like to, Ben has a presentation. Wonderful. If you'd like to come on stage, we'll get you on stage. And thank you very much to Nate and Carol. If you want to stay on stage, you can, or you can drop off as well. Bye. Okay. So, well, Ben, since you seem like completely ready to go, I am going to invite you to stage first.
How do I leave the stage?
I think in the top right hand corner.
Hello.
Hey there, Ben.
Let me just
focus anyway. So
share my screen.
Ooh, this is a full-out presentation. Okay.
Of course it is. It's only 6 slides, but
wonderful. Do your thing. I'm going to mute myself. Take it away.
Is it sharing for y'all? Can you see?
We can see craft and crypto art, a community to encourage crafts.
Tremendous. Let me put that into presentation mode then. Here we go. So we have this. It's called Craft and Crypto Art, a community who encourage crafts in the crypto art space. It is a Createbase funded project, so thank you so much for Createbase and Mintbase for the support. I am so thankful that this is getting off the ground, and also how quickly it's being ideated upon, how excited people are for this. So it was brought out after I was live streaming, and Chloe was just like, "Hey, do you want funding for this?" And I'm like, "I do want funding for this. I want to help people get into NFTs." It was like, "Well, we have a whole thing that you can have funding for to get NFTs," and that was the most exciting feeling for me. And now it's happening. So it has two core objectives: to support and grow the practice of craft artists, and to encourage digital artists to pick up craft skills. So I want this to be a two-way street where people can go, "Hey, I've always wanted to try knitting. Great, come try this here. Great, I'm an already established fiber artist. I would love to be in the space. Great, come on, let's do it." So the best option for craft artists to start publishing crypto art is, of course, Mintbase on Neo. We've been discussing it for 40 minutes. I don't need to go on at all about Mintbase. We're all on board. It's amazing. But I do want to introduce you both to the two people who are joining the main core team. They're both in the chat. We have Jen's a little loopy, who they can come on stage as well if they like, and Novial Art. Two tremendous artists. Their Twitter is right here. I would love for you all to give them all the love in the world. Basically, they each have their own core objectives, and they're already craft artists that started on Ethereum. So I can think of no better people to come in and start engaging with getting craft artists into this wonderful space here. So, so you can follow them. And we've been brainstorming and asking all sorts of questions like, how do we make crypto art as accessible as possible? I have a lot of friends who do craft arts and own craft shops because they don't have the ability to work a 9-to-5 job, or they can't create in a way that, it would be feasible for them to do like a factory production or anything. So they have to do everything in their own way. How do we make crypto art accessible for them? And how do we protect craft artists from gatekeepers? A lot of fiber artists are struggling to make it in a fine arts context. Why should that be the same in crypto art? What can we do to support them as much as possible? And also, one of the big thing is, if you make a craft, you want that craft in your actual house. Like if you make, let's say, for example, if I make a little sculpture, I want that to be on your desk as much as I want it to be a piece of digital art. So how can we encourage collectors to purchase NFTs and physical combos? These are the questions that we want to answer and support people in finding their own solutions for as well. So, as I said before, Createbase and Mintbase is supporting us to start producing live content. Currently, that is just me, but we're hoping that Jen and Novial will also get involved and bring their own practices on. And crucially, as we start bringing more craft artists into our community, that they will also feel comfortable live streaming and talking about crypto arts. And also, just things like general meetings and facilitation is so important to traditional artists because we're all used to getting together and producing work together. So making sure that we can work through those starting steps of getting wallet addresses, opening stores or publishing NFTs, those things to me should be done together, and running those is going to be really important. And also just bringing a strong craft community together. There are so many individual craft, like literally go out into your street and shout, "Hey, is there a crafting group I can join?" And you'll have 3 people just yell out their window and say, "Yes, we are right here. We are ready to come join our group." Well, you can't right now because of COVID, but you can do some knitting over Zoom. But we need to find that community for crypto art, and again, making sure that goes both ways is really important. So thank you. We plan to fully kick off the live streaming for March 1st. We're currently putting the groundwork, such as establishing Telegram and Discord groups, making sure that people have the base knowledge as well. It's, we're doing as much as we can. We'll get in March 1st. We'll all do live streams and everything will be hunky-dory. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was wonderful to hear more about where the project's come so far, and I'm very excited to see where it gets to over the next month or so.
Yes, it will continue. And that was just very stopgappy as well. So as we progress, hopefully you'll keep hearing more. I'll keep coming back with more presentations.
Wonderful. Yeah, we love the presentations. Honestly, if anyone else has an idea for something, just DM us, email us, find us, and we would love to get your projects going as well. So We're going to kick you off here, Ben.
See yous. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, and then Rogan.
Can you guys hear me?
I feel like I'm
yes, no? Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
I can hear the words coming out of your mouth.
Yes, you fixed it. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, real quick spiel about Forged in Crypto, which is something that's been stewing in my head since last year. I think we need a game show, like a metaverse game show. And I'm a little camera shy. Not gonna lie. I mean, this right here, you guys don't usually see me, and there's a reason for that. But whatever, I shaved. The thing about Forged in Crypto is that I can't do it myself. This is not a one-man show. I know there's a whole lot of that in this space where people come in and they're polymaths and they just do everything. I can't. I wish I could. I've tried. It burned me out. I had to go away and really think about things and come back. So I haven't really kicked it off yet. This is like my tailgate party, if you want to put it that way. Like I'm excited to get going on it. It's going to be something that takes up a lot of my time, and I want it to go well. But I need help. I need your help. I need help from people who are building things in the space. Like a lot of what I want to do is I've been kind of waiting for Mintbase to launch on Near, A, because of cost, B, utility. I mean, this is awesome. Nate is building all of this amazing stuff, and Thor too, for us to work with and build upon. That's kind of part of my game plan, is to have some things need to be in place first, which is why I haven't been trying to push this ahead, since last year when I came up with it. I know Bruce the Goose has been really supportive of the whole idea, and he wants to be in on it too. I've talked to a few people at various times about various parts of this project, but what I see in terms of being able to get it off the ground, we got to do a pilot. So I'm going to be like looking for people who are interested in, hey, do you want to come on this game show and be a part of the pilot episode? Other than that, the actual, if there's a website, if there needs to be a front end for anything, if there's an associated smart contract, because a big part of this, and I should, I guess, rewind just a tiny bit and explain what Forged in Crypto means. There's this game show that exists. It's about people making knives and blades. It's called Forged in Fire. And essentially, they have 4 contestants that come on the show, and they compete to win a $10,000 cash prize as, hey, you're the best person here. Your blade, was tested, it met all these parameters, and it looks nice. And then here's a check for $10,000, and you're the Forged in Fire champion. So I watch this all the time, and I was like, how do we do something like that for crypto art? Because it's respectful. It pushes people to be better at what they do. And I think that that's something that we should encourage in the crypto art space. So yeah, real short, sweet, simple. I need help. I want your help. And that's why I'm here. So if anybody is interested in bringing a game show in that kind of format, because I know we're not making knives. Art, knives, it's not the same thing. But ultimately, this is the year to do it. I don't have, I can't give people $10,000 every time they come on the show. So another component is that there will be several layers of ways for people to contribute to the prize pool, or even just straight up financially. But that's all to be decided, to be worked out, and it's in the roadmap essentially. But thank you so much for listening to me and giving me the airtime for this. It is something that I want to work on so much. It's kind of a passion of mine, and so I just look forward to being able to do it with your help. And I appreciate the fact that you're all here doing what you do to make it possible for people like Ben and me to do the stuff that we do.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you so much. People are already brainstorming in the chat, like George, Natural Warp, is thinking, wait a second, thinking how, and Vandal is also asking questions. So I'm sure you will find some partners here, and really excited for your project and for your enthusiasm.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I will say quickly, this Air Meet is open 24/7 all the time. So if you ever want to come use the Air Meet to chat about projects in Createbase, feel free to use the links here, video chat, sit at tables as well. But thank you so much, and we will invite Vandal to stage. And
yeah, if you want us also to name a table, let's say in between the calls, because we can change the names of the table. So if you want to have a table for talking to people, we can just put the name there, and then you tell them, meet me at this time at this table, and it's actually like a space, a nice virtual space to meet people, and it's open for the Createbase.
Yeah, we can open as many tables as you guys need. We can name them all. So let us know how we can best support what you guys need to get done. So Vandal, why don't you take it away and get going talking about what you're doing in the space. How you getting creative?
How's it going? Thanks, Chloe. Thanks to the team. Wonderful to hear the updates from Nate, and I'm really looking forward to testing things out on the testnet and see how the audio NFTs come out, and also just in general, just poking around. I wanted to just give an update on TYGS, which is the Think You Got Skills Hip Hop Battle Series that we're going to be using as sort of a vehicle to onboard people into the space. I have a rough, I guess the website is coming together, so I just wanted to kind of share that with everybody here. Let's see, share screen. Voila, can you see that? No?
Seems like it's coming to present now.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. It looks wonderful.
Awesome. So this was done by Akmal, A Creates, who's part of our team. He's been handling all of the visuals and the graphic designs and stuff. So it's just relatively like a little skeleton here. So these are all the different elements that we have. The Beat Meet is our producer battle for Battle of the Beats. Bars is a rap battle. Fame is graffiti battle, and then the Beatdown is a beatbox, and Flex, obviously you can see here the dude dancing. So that's our dance battle, and Cold Crush is the DJ battle. So then we've got, these will all kind of link out. So this is just kind of the general shell of the website that we've got ready so far. We've got a little bit of an about page here, which just kind of gives people a bit more info and background on the project that we kicked off in 2008. Sort of the numbers that we have currently so far across all our social medias, and then sort of the long-term vision and mission. If anybody wants to kind of check this out, I can drop the link in the chat as well. So that's just a quick update there about the website. We're getting all of the core material together as per our application for the Createbase funding. VR Graffiti.
Link to the website if you have it.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know
sure.
if it's out there
Yeah,
for.
I'll just drop it.
Everyone is reading that link. The site looks too beautiful.
It's amazing. It looks great. Good job. Yeah, and this is something really cool that Chloe already mentioned. So Vandal submitted an application. It's quite like a long project, but you don't have to wait until the whole project is finished, to send us what you've done to get the payment. You can create, let's say, phases or milestones, and say, okay, so the first part was just to get the website with the basic information, and with this first things we're doing, and that, let's say, is going to be 1/3 of the funds. So that's it. Then when you get the first part, then you get that part of the funds, and you get to decide how we want to break it up. It's up to you. We can help if you don't know how to. We can suggest, but it's basically just up to you, and then we can get it going much faster.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is kind of the first milestone that we've kind of laid out, and there's just a few more things. Our little intro video that Vincent's doing, and then we're good to go on the first milestone. So pretty excited, and getting everything ready. We were aiming for March, but let's see how testnet goes and mainnet, so that maybe we can kind of try and launch simultaneously with everything there. On another note, more sort of specific to audio NFTs and what we're doing with DAO Records, is that we've kicked off discussions, probably it's been a couple of weeks already, with creating a music guild for Near. And this is sort of like an ongoing look into what we can do for the music ecosystem. And I think it's really important that we look at how we can build out a new music industry utilizing all these tools. And that's kind of what really excites me in terms of, what we're trying to do with DAO Records, and as well as onboarding people into the space. So we are really, really close to announcing the Music Guild. We're just actually really settling on a name, I think. And then that way we can get all the socials down for that and essentially launch. So I'm looking... Hopefully next week we'll be launching that. Pretty excited. So anybody here who's following what we're doing is a musician, knows musicians. This is going to operate similar to how Createbase is operating, and also integrated with Createbase, obviously, as well, in terms of accessing the content needed for onboarding, because I believe Createbase and what you guys are doing here is creating this onboarding material and content, and that we can also utilize and build on specifically to get musicians involved. So we're really excited about that. That's pretty much the update that I have for today, just short and sweet. And thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vandal.
I'm so excited for that.
And also, you can, if you have a link for people that want to, get involved with the Music Guild, if there is such thing, you can also drop in the chat.
Okay, very soon. For next.
There you go. Awesome. I love how things are kind of just spinning out and getting larger and larger with like different guild spinoffs, more projects coming on board. Yeah, thank you so much, George, for stopping by. I know that can be a lot of time for the meeting is now up. If anyone does have to leave, feel free to drop off. We thank you so much for attending. The AMA with Nate was wonderful. At the end of this stream, it'll be on YouTube automatically. It's live streaming right now on YouTube, so you can go back and rewatch things right now if you'd like. And definitely, I'll drop the links again for submitting an application and getting a Near name. So if you got on late, make sure you get a Near name. Createbase will fund those for you. Make sure you test out the Createbase DAO. You can do anything creative you want and get 10 Near for doing so. And make sure you get a project together. If you have a project been in your mind for a couple months, submit an application, put timelines for how you can get funding over time and make the project successful, and apply and help us help you guys. But thanks everyone for coming. Lenara, Carol, you can say whatever you'd like, but appreciate it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Such a great meeting today. I really loved how everyone presented their ideas and pitched them. And it's just so exciting to see. We had like 22 people today. And see you at the tables. Talk a little bit more about NFTs and ideas.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was really nice to see how the projects are progressing. They're like at different stages, but we really have a lot of projects going, and the goal is to get many, many, many more. So please, tell your friends, bring your friends to the next community meeting, get them to get Near names, apply for funding, and get involved with Createbase and get funded for their creative efforts.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to end the session now. See you at the tables if you want to stick around and chat.